Shalom, my name is Joseph Shulam. I'm the retired director of Netivyah Bible Instruction Ministry and also the founder. And I've been teaching 1 Samuel, and I will continue to teach 1 Samuel and even go into 2 Samuel, because I think that these books are very, very important. They're books that are transitional. They move from one era to another era, from one type of government to another type of government, from recovery of the Exodus from Egypt to a kingdom that is promised and based on God's promises. So I will continue 1 Samuel, going to 2 Samuel, God willing, but I decided to do something shorter. And I tried to do the first mind candy, I called it mind candy, to keep it shorter. So I kept it from 50 minutes to 20 minutes. I still have to make things shorter. I got a letter from Facebook, a very nice letter, a good letter, that advised me what to do to get more attention and better response from people. And they recommended I do things 3 to 5 minutes. So here I am, the second mind candy. I hope to keep it shorter than the previous one and train myself to do shorter things. Okay, so the second mind candy has to do with the Sermon on the Mountain, Yeshua's teaching about turning the other cheek. I'll start reading from Matthew 5:38. You have heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, but I tell you not to resist an evil person. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn the other to him also. All right, this is the essence of the principle that Yeshua is to teach. Now, people don't pay attention carefully to what Yeshua is saying. Yeshua doesn't say don't resist evil. Don't fight against evil. Don't wrestle with evil. He says, don't resist an evil person. Big difference between resisting evil, the ontological evil, and resisting an evil person. An evil person must have also evil intentions toward you, toward your nation, or toward your village, or toward your town, or toward your community. And resisting him only gives him fuel. So the question is, where did Yeshua get this principle, this idea? Is it original with Yeshua? No, it's not. Yeshua is quoting. Like in the first mind candy, Yeshua is again and always basing his teaching on what we call the Old Testament. And he's quoting from the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 30. Let me go to the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, verse 30, and look at this text together. Lamentations 3, verse 30. Now, in order to understand Lamentations, we have to understand the context. The context of Lamentation is written by Jeremiah, probably through a scribe whose name is Baruch ben Neriah. We're very fortunate. Very, very, very fortunate. In the dig in the city of David in Jerusalem, when they dug the royal archives of the kings of Israel, they found 53 seals. What does it mean, seals? People didn't have pencils or pens. They had a signet ring that had their symbols, their names, and we have 53 of these seals, and we have at least 9 of these seals. They are seals of people that we know, including King Hezekiah. His name is, like in first chapter, the first verses of Isaiah, Chizkiyahu ben Achaz, Hezekiah the son of Achaz. Lo and behold, one of the seals says Chizkiyahu ben Achaz, Melech Yahud, the king of Judea. The royal seal that he had on his ring, he stamped the letters that he wrote, or that his scribes wrote, and stamped with his name. But we have one of these seals. They were preserved because of the fire. When the Persians invaded Jerusalem, they set fire to the palace. When they set fire to the palace, they set fire to the archives. These seals were soft clay, pottery clay. When the fire burned them, they became harder and they were preserved. The fire actually preserved the seals. One of these seals is actually the seal of Baruch ben Neriah, the scribe of Jeremiah, who probably wrote the book of Lamentations. So the book of Lamentations is written at the fall of Jerusalem, the fall of the first temple of Jerusalem. Sad occasion, great calamity, Lamentations. It starts with the horrible, horrible words. What have I done? I've not gone to Lamentations. I've gone to Chronicles. How lonely sits the city that was full of people. How like a widow is she. How great among the nations. The princess among the provinces has become a slave. She weeps bitterly in the night. Her tears are on her cheeks. Among all her lovers, she has none to comfort her, and her friends have dealt treacherously with her, have become her enemies. Judah has gone into captivity. That's the beginning of the book of Lamentations. And in the book of Lamentations, chapter 3, the prophet is giving us advice. The advice is what to do with evil people. I will start reading from verse 27 of chapter 3, just to put us in the picture. Is it good for a man to bear the yoke of his youth? Let him sit alone and keep silent, because God has laid it on him. Let him put his mouth to the dust. There may yet be hope. Let's shut up in front of your enemies. Don't get argument. Don't get into fuss with them. Fill your mouth with dust. It's better than to start arguing with your captives. The ones that have captivated you, in other words, who have destroyed your city, who have taken you to exile. Let him give his cheek, verse 30, let him give his cheeks to the one who strikes him, and be full of reproach, for the Lord will not cast off forever. Though he causes grief, yet he will show compassion, according to the multitude of his mercies. That's verse 30 to 32. So here you have it. Jeremiah, through his scribe Baruch ben Neriah, is giving advice to the generation that witnessed and experienced the fall of Jerusalem, the destruction of its walls, the defiling of his temple of God in Jerusalem. And he says, better shut up and not get into argument and fuss and complain toward those who have captured you, captivated you, taken you to exile. And in verse 30, let him give his cheek to the one who strikes him. In other words, if somebody strikes you, turn your cheek, turn your other cheek. The Hebrew is very clear. Turn your other cheek to the one who strikes you the first time. Why? because by this you are filling him with reproach. What are you showing those that captured you? You're showing that your spirit is not broken, that you are not weak, that you are strong, that you are capable of taking their blows and keeping on worshiping God. That's what it says. Yeshua is not teaching you to be weak and to grovel in front of your captors. Jerusalem was under Roman occupation when Yeshua was saying this. The Romans were cruel occupiers and rulers. And Yeshua is giving advice to the people of Israel and to his disciples. It says, be proud, even though you lost the war, even though you're an occupied people, be proud and don't grovel and don't complain, but show strength. Because by doing this, you will fill your enemy with reproach, with shame. You will prove that God is still with you and you're not broken. That is what Yeshua is talking about. He's quoting from Lamentations in a context that is similar to Lamentations. Lamentations, the Babylonians, the Assyrians conquered Jerusalem. The Babylonians, actually. Here, the Romans. Yeshua is taken from Lamentations. That is my mind candy for you. And explaining to us why you should turn your other cheek. Because by doing that, you make the person who struck you ashamed. You show that you're strong, that you're not invincible, that you are not put to shame, but you put those evil people to shame. He's not teaching us to be weak. He's not teaching us to be giving up. He's not teaching us to enjoy masochism and people to strike us. No, he's not teaching us to do these things. He is teaching us to show strength, that we're not broken and we're not, giving up, and we have enough strength to show our enemies, the evil people, that we are strong enough to take the second blow. Cassius Clay, before he became Muhammad Ali, was a Christian, raised in a Christian home. And he described his strength when he became champion, world champion, boxing, heavyweight. He described his strength. It's not the ability to hit, it's the ability to receive the blow of your enemy, of your opponent, and still keep going. That's what Yeshua is teaching us, folks. This is my mind candy for today. God bless all of you. Amen.